Welcome. You're on the Fringe Show. I'm your host, Tatiana Zalan, and I go live every Friday at 2 p.m. Dubai time. The Fringe is about your future, science, technology, art, economy, and society. I help you to navigate the rapidly changing world and uncertain future so that you too can take advantage of the opportunities in this new world and perhaps make better decisions about your future. In this episode, which is number 53, I decided to talk about the theme that's very close to my heart, and I continue talking about it on my many shows, and that's about the metaverse. We're going to talk about the elephant in the metaverse room. What I'm going to say is pretty controversial, and it's not really very well understood in the broad metaverse society or space or the community, if you will. What I'm saying here is that metaverse is not a technology, collection of technologies, or not even a new economy or Web3, as is commonly believed. So if you're an investor, entrepreneur, executive, or government official, or any other decision maker who is somehow involved in making decisions about the metaverse investments, then you really need to pay attention and make the right investment decisions for the future. The views here are my own. That's a usual disclaimer. They do not represent the official views of organizations and employers I'm associated with. It's not investment advice. The Fringe Show is for educational and informational purposes only. I want to start it with showing you one particular demo. It's from Baidu. Baidu is investing billions of dollars in the metaverse. And let's see what they had to show at the developer conference back in 2021. That conference was specifically dedicated to the metaverse. Let me see if I can share the screen. Yes, it's not coming along, but as easily as I would want it to. Let's try again. No, it's not happening for whatever reason. Now, then I'll probably need to give up on this idea and get back to you. Well, anyway, this is really their vision of the metaverse. They're showing 4-minute really demo about how they are envisioning this. You're seeing devices, you're seeing people, young people in goggles, and they go into the metaverse, Shaolin Monastery, and so on. So just like Meta, Baidu is investing billions of dollars into the metaverse. So if you watch it, and you can just really find it very easily on YouTube, I would have wanted to ask you, what do you think about this demo? And I looked through the comments below the video, and what they're saying is that, well, whether it's Facebook, Meta, or Baidu, this just looks like another computer game with VR glasses. This is really such a big development. Well, and I agree with this. It's a very primitive demo. And the question is this really the vision of the metaverse? We understand it's very early. We're still not there yet, but nevertheless, it's important to realize, to have a shared idea about what metaverse actually is. And let me start with just a couple of conceptions about this metaverse as we see it today, as many people see it today. Well, if you ask Microsoft what's a metaverse, they're saying that the metaverse is a digital space inhabited by digital representations of people and things. So you have the kind of digital avatars. That's how they see the world in a nutshell. Matthew Ball is quite famous for his work in the metaverse. He's a VC, but also an author. He gave perhaps one of the most comprehensive descriptions of how metaverse could be seen. It's persistent, it's synchronous, it's live. It has to be open to as unlimited number of users. It has to have a fully functioning economy. It has to have be an experience that spans both the digital and the physical world, and it needs to offer unprecedented interoperability of data and digital assets. So you can take one digital asset from one metaverse or one digital space into another. And the way he says, it's both digital, physical, private and public. It's open and closed platforms. All of them have to be part of the metaverse. So that's Matthew Ball. Recently, Kathy Hickel, a futurist, has written about the metaverse, and to her, it's a convergence of the digital and physical selves through Web3 technologies such as AR, VR, AI, cloud, blockchain, crypto, 5G networks, and edge computing. The metaverse allows our respective digital identities to catch up so that we're consuming content and creating revenue streams in a totally interactive manner. There's only one metaverse, and it's not there yet in its greater form. And I agree with Kathy Hickel. Indeed, it should be one metaverse in one form, not a multiplicity of small, private, and open, and closed, and public, and so on. And then there is a serial entrepreneur, Dirk Lewis, who is also co-author of the book on the metaverse. He's saying that the metaverse is like a parallel, immersive world that blurs with the real one, where people assume one or multiple identities. At its core, it puts individuals at its center. They're in control of their assets and data, which they can use, trade, sell, and everything else that true ownership powered by blockchain enables them to do. That's why blockchain is a fundamental pillar of the metaverse, right? So as you can see, there are all these different understandings of what metaverse should be or is, and the paint is still wet. The true colors are yet to be revealed. There's no common understanding. So is this a problem? I would argue it is. According to Sergei Karelov, a futurist, he's saying, well, of all these devices, goggles, avatars, virtual conferences, and concerts, this is just really kindergarten, because the metaverse is not a technology or a collection of technologies, not even an economy, not Web 3.0. It's the design and conception of a totally new world, a new reality, if you will. So why is everyone interested in the metaverse? Well, there's a gold rush into that. The Citibank has just come up with an estimate of the total addressable market for the metaverse economy, which could be in the range, according to them, of 8 to 13 trillion. They're saying that a device-agnostic metaverse, which can be accessible via personal computers and game consoles and smartphones, could result in a very large ecosystem value. Who would argue? But let's look at what this new conception of the metaverse is or should be. It's a convergence, a fusion of three worlds, not just two: biological, physical, and digital, so that you can feel and experience the metaverse in a way that's no different from reality. Developers are calling this the triad of cyber, physical, biological communication experiences. So your genuine avatar in the metaverse, if we're talking about that, will have complete feeling and immersion through neural interfaces with all 5 human senses involved. What do you need for this to happen? We need infrastructure. We need new capabilities to store and transmit data incredibly high speed. In effect, we need 4 things. First, we need 6G. 5G is not enough. Big telcos, mobile operators are players in the space, and they're working on developing this technology. Then we need to have platforms that are able to ensure the interface between this physical and the virtual. And this is where big tech comes in. As one smart investor remarked recently, whoever owns this platform will become God. The third segment that we need, third component, are new applications. And of course, the fourth and the last component, we need institutions and infrastructure which will support confidentiality, privacy, cybersecurity, anti-terrorism measures, and so on and so forth. Where are we with the digital networks, and what's the future of networks? I'm referring here to a very interesting paper by engineers, not developers, not programmers. They are engineers. They understand how things need to be built so that they don't get destroyed. And it's called 6G Ecosystem, Current Status and Future Perspective. It's a new paper, 2022. So they look at the current status, and this is what they're saying, is that if we look at our current mobile networks, there's a huge gap between user application expectations and the current capabilities of immersive multimedia, personalized holograms, multisense, haptic devices, and so on. Technology components, if we'll look at them, including hardware, software, overall ecosystem, like devices, standards, security, data management algorithms, cloud-based solutions, applications, all of that needs tremendous upgrade. One of the key requirements of 5G networks is terrestrial communication. In 6G networks, we need to have more than that. We will have to go from land to underwater and aerial. And this requires a several-fold upgrade in 5G capacity. This, of course, will increase the constraints on many different verticals: flying cars, ultra-real, human-computer interactions, holographic telepresence, underwater recreation, tremendous upgrade. And clearly, to address the demands of these verticals, such as 3D connectivity or multidimensional video with high resolution and very high data rate and bandwidth, the communication networks need to be a lot more intelligent than they are now. Not just smart, as everybody talks about smart cities, smart IoTs, and so on. They really need to be intelligent. For example, real-time remote robotic surgery will need simultaneously ultra-low latency, massive data rate, and security to work effectively. The internet that we have now is simply not suitable for these requirements. It's not supporting these requirements. So 6G, their vision is to be intelligent, ubiquitous, deep, and have holographic connectivity. Let's take the example of multidimensional reality needed in the metaverse. Human-computer interactions that deal with the ultra-high definition graphical contents, well, if I'm referring to this is what we need, then I'm referring here to online games based on things like augmented reality and virtual reality. All of that generates massive amounts of data. We would need to witness 3D games or multidimensional video that interacts with all the 5 senses of the body to create this illusion of real world by combining VR and AR, and only that will render us a true virtual experience. They do not exist today, and these applications will be tangible probably within a decade, as the computer technology and computing power and storage space of the mobile devices, they will increase multifold in their capacity. And for these augmented data to be transmitted through a wireless channel, we need extreme bandwidth, reliability, and high data rate. So all these technologies, to kind of the bottom line of that, are not market ready. And the question is, do decision makers understand it? Well, some do, and some executives from Intel, for example, they do say that we need to have several orders of magnitude more powerful computing capability, accessible at much lower latencies across a multitude of device form factors. To enable these capabilities at scale, the entire plumbing of the internet will need major upgrades. Truly persistent and immersive computing at scale and accessible by billions of humans in real time will require even more, a 1,000x increase in computational efficiency from today's state of the art. And another Intel official is saying we have 10 years until silicon size of semiconductors stops shrinking entirely. That's barely sufficient to produce the needed breakthroughs that will keep computing going. So this has been understood. That's one inconvenient truth for the moment for the metaverse, or the elephant in the metaverse room. We need a massive infrastructure upgrade. But there is one more, and that's related to energy. And that's true of all digitalization. Only very few resource-rich countries and those who have money to buy energy can afford the metaverse. So it will only amplify this division between the rich and the poor. The main challenge that we have with global sustainable development is resources, particularly energy. In the last 50 years, energy generation has increased, wait for this, 3 million-fold as we transition from timber and coal to nuclear energy. And meanwhile, energy consumption increased multiple times more. Do you know that 1/3 of all energy generated in the world goes to the IT and related industries like telco, for example? And that's just to maintain digital networks. Production here is not included. So our planet is well on our way toward an energy crisis in the near future. And as a planet, we need a breakthrough both in energy generation and energy consumption. We will need new technologies and investments in hydrostation, perhaps, and safe nuclear energy. And that's a challenge of planetary dimensions. And we can only overcome it as one single humanity, as one single civilization, one single planet. And without such breakthrough, and that needs to happen fast, we cannot fulfill the visions of 6G, Metaverse, Web3, and generally speaking, digitalization, and simply a faster internet, if you will. Or in the next 10 years' time, we will still be watching this Baidu's primitive demo. It's a shame I couldn't show it to you. And I want to finish off with a couple of takeaways for decision makers. The metaverse today is not what it currently is or could be. It's not a collection of technologies, not Web3. It should be really a new concept of the world, new reality, a triad of the physical, digital, and biological worlds. And by the way, I'm not saying here that this needs to happen or is good for humanity, for civilization. I'm just stating the fact, if we want to have these things, we need to have a different view of the metaverse and certainly think differently about infrastructure and energy investments. So for this vision to materialize, we need a far more sophisticated infrastructure, which is currently not market ready. Of course, we do have kernels of such technologies, but they may need many years and certainly billions of dollars to develop. Only large governments and large companies can afford it, not everyone. But above all, I would argue, we need a revolution in energy production and energy consumption. The current situation that we have is not sustainable. We're heading towards a crisis. I hope everybody is seeing that it's in your plain sight. And without this, the promise of the metaverse will not be fulfilled. I hope you enjoyed this very short show today, concise one, and I will see you next time on the Fringe show next Friday, 2 p.m. Dubai time. Thank you so much for joining, and all the best for now.